At this point, our store is starting to really take shape and has some nice functionality. If I were a shopper though, there are still some things I'd like to see. For example, it'd be nice to see the number of search results as well as what I searched for when executing a search query. It'd also be nice to see which categories, if any, I've currently got selected. And it would be nice to be able to sort right from the products page as well, instead of being limited to only the options in the menu. Let's start by adding the category to each individual product card and make it a link to the actual category. Just above the rating, I'll paste in the code for a category link, which is pretty self-explanatory. If the product has a category, we want to render it out using its friendly name as the text and its programmatic name as the href. Let's add this to the product detail page as well. What if the user has multiple categories selected though? For example, using the all clothing link, which would select 4 categories. This is where the current categories variable we returned from the all products view is going to come in handy. Just under the products header, let's iterate through that and render some category links. I'll use some customized bootstrap badges, another built-in bootstrap element, to do this. For the most part, this little code snippet is pretty straightforward. Every single class here except for category badge and text black is built into Bootstrap. The href uses the same linking mechanism as the links in the individual product cards, and again here we're using the category's friendly name as the text of the link. Let's add a bit of CSS to invert the colors of these badges when hovering over them. This background color matches the Bootstrap Dark class, so this will make the badges look similar to a Bootstrap button with the Dark class on them. Let's see how that looks. Now let's move into the empty row above the list of products. This is where the sort options for the products page and our search result count will go. Again, in the interest of brevity, I'm going to paste in this code from the completed project, but we'll go through all the significant parts. This may look like a lot, but it's actually quite simple. First, let's talk about the columns. This layout will put the sort select box on top on mobile, but using the order first and order last classes adjusts it so that the sort select box will actually be the last column on medium and larger screens. Moving to the sort select box itself, it's a pretty standard select box, but in order to determine the selected value, we're checking the value of the current sorting template variable. That's the one we're returning from the view, which will have the value of none underscore none if no sorting is currently selected. The effect here is that if the value of the current sorting variable from the view is, for example, price underscore ascending, then this option will be selected in the select box. We'll write some JavaScript in a future video to handle actually using this box to update the sorting, but for now, you can see if I go to the site and change the sorting method from the navigation menu, the select box updates accordingly. Now to the last piece, the product count and search results. This piece of code is broken into 3 main parts. We're using the length built-in template filter to count the number of products. Then if there's a search term, again returned in the context from the all products view, we tack on a few extra words to let the user know what they've searched for. Finally, in front of the product count, I've added a link to go back to the main products page if the user has either entered a search term, selected some specific categories, or sorted in a specific way. You can probably see the power of all this Django template logic starting to show here. If any of this is confusing, I'd encourage you to go back and review the All Products view and the template variables we're returning from it so you can see how they all interact with this template. If you can understand this, you can see how it's easy to create some pretty impressive functionality by passing variables and parameters back and forth between views and templates. Let's make one final change to the All Products view in order to force categories to be sorted by name instead of their IDs. In the sorting code block here, I'll add a conditional to check if the sort key is equal to category, and if it is, I want to adjust it to tack on a double underscore and name. Remember, this double underscore syntax allows us to drill into a related model, and that works for ordering also. So by doing this, we're effectively changing this line to products.orderby category double underscore name. And of course, if the line above it adds a minus in front of it, it'll just be reversed. With that complete, we can once again test everything. If I go to the site and sort by category, it looks like the sorting by name is working. And if I change the URL to descending, the order does in fact reverse. It's also clear now if we select all clothing from the navigation menu, our list of categories shows up at the top, and clicking on any individual category will take us to that category. The drop-down box looks good and updates accordingly if I select price from the nav bar. And if I run a search for jeans, I do in fact get all jeans, a count of the products, what I searched for, and a link back to the main products page. This all looks really good, so I'm going to go back and commit my changes. And in the next video, we'll write some JavaScript to update the product list when the sort select box is changed.